and the blow before showing her the evidence. I agreed, but told him I'd already forwarded all the screenshots to myself in case he tried to delete them to protect his father. He looked at me like I was a complete stranger who'd invaded his home and destroyed everything he thought was real. While he was gone meeting his mother at some coffee shop downtown, I opened my laptop and started researching divorce lawyers in our area. I found one named Vicky Ridley who specialized in high-conflict divorces and had amazing reviews from women in similar situations. I called her office and made an appointment for next week, then drove to the bank and opened my own checking account. The teller helped me transfer exactly half our joint savings into the new account, while I thought about how this marriage was definitely over. Giorgio came home 3 hours later looking like someone had died, which I guess in a way something had died that morning. His mother didn't believe him at first and accused him of making up lies to hurt her for some reason. Then she demanded to see the evidence herself, so he had to show her the Instagram posts of her husband shopping for baby furniture with a woman younger than Giorgio. She left the coffee shop without saying another word and went straight to her sister's house where she wasn't answering anyone's calls. His father started calling both our phones non-stop around lunchtime, leaving increasingly angry voicemails about defamation and slander. First, he threatened legal action saying we'd photoshopped everything and he'd sue us for destroying his reputation. Then he pivoted to offering us money to keep quiet about the whole thing and delete all the evidence. Giorgio listened to each message, getting more and more disgusted with the man he'd worshipped his entire life. By evening, his father showed up at our house, pounding on the front door, demanding to speak with me directly about my lies. Giorgio wouldn't let him in, and they ended up screaming at each other on our front lawn for everyone to see. The neighbors definitely heard everything about the affair and the baby, and even the $8,000 on OnlyFans. His father called me a vindictive bitch who'd poisoned his son against him, and Giorgio actually defended me for once. I wonder why Giorgio thought this radical honesty thing would work differently than it did. He seems genuinely shocked that his wife knew all these secrets about his family and spending habits. They almost got into a physical fight before his father finally drove away, threatening to cut Giorgio out of his will completely. After his father left, I went online and booked an emergency appointment with a therapist named pt.3 for both of us. Giorgio agreed to go only because he was desperate for someone to tell him how to fix this mess and save his family. I agreed to go because I needed to understand why I'd stayed quiet for so long about all these terrible truths. The next morning, Miles started texting Giorgio's phone over and over while we sat at the kitchen table in silence. I could see the messages piling up asking if everything was okay and why Giorgio hadn't shown up for work or answered any calls for 2 days. Giorgio pushed his phone across the table and asked me to text Miles back that he was sick with the flu. I shook my head and reminded him that lying wasn't part of radical honesty, even if it was to protect his job. He grabbed his phone and threw it hard against the wall where it shattered into pieces. The silence lasted about 10 minutes before my own phone started ringing with his mother's name on the screen. She didn't even say hello before demanding to know everything about the OnlyFans situation and asking if I had proof of what I'd said at the country club. I pulled up 3 years worth of credit card statements on my laptop while she waited on the phone. Each charge to OnlyFans was highlighted in yellow, along with the Amazon purchases and wire transfers to someone named Candy in Phoenix. I emailed her the entire folder of statements plus screenshots of the transactions that Giorgio had tried to hide as business expenses. She hung up without saying goodbye. 3 days later, we were sitting in Tessa's office for our first therapy appointment that I'd booked. The waiting room smelled like vanilla candles and had those white noise machines that were supposed to be calming.